The largest playoff comeback win in Knicks franchise history, and it's the largest blown lead in Celtics playoff history. 20 points. That's what Boston was up. 20 points. The Knicks came back to win in overtime. Welcome to Playoff Central Live, presented by AT&T. Chris Miles here with Steve Smith and John Wall. And Smitty, the Celtics relied on a three-point shot. The Knicks, they fought back. What stood out most to you about the Knicks' comeback in the third quarter?
Well, I think for me is the Boston Celtics shooting 5 for 19. I mean, just a three-point shot. There's a time where you have to drive the basketball. Give the Knicks a lot of credit. They did not quit. They came out. I love the way Josh Hart and Brunson and all those guys compete. But if you're the Boston Celtics, you got to be kicking yourself. There's no way you're going to shoot 63s when you're getting everything you want, switches, and you had the momentum to just drive the basketball. But you live by it, and boy, they died by it tonight.
You know, Johnny says that. The most missed threes in NBA playoff history, the most threes attempted in NBA playoff history, 60 of them. The previous record was 58. The previous franchise record was 55. And it felt like they were taking threes on every single possession, even when they had looks underneath the basket.
Yeah, we know that's their identity is to shoot a lot of threes. That's what they built their team around. But like Smitty said, at some point you got to get to the basket, get to the free throw line. In the third quarter, they was up 20, and for a stretch for like 4 or 5 minutes, it's like every possession was three after three after three, and they wasn't making them. And even when the game got close, New York kept fighting. You got to give them a lot of credit. They didn't stop competing. They started to make shots. OG stepped it up on the defensive end, and those guys started to see shots go in. And, you know, clutch player of the year, Jalen Brunson, got it going in the fourth quarter, got opportunity to take the lead, had opportunity to almost win the game. And they go to overtime. He really didn't score, but he dictated the team, and they just kept living by the three.
And there was something early in the game that paid off from the Celtics that they seemed to go away from, Smitty. And you noticed this. They kept forcing the Knicks bigs to switch. And Karl Anthony Towns got his third foul early in the second quarter with 9 minutes to go. The Celtics, they built that 16-point lead after Towns got that third foul. And then they didn't really play aggressively like that. Can you show us how the switching on the bigs really paid off for the Celtics early?
Well, John Wall and everybody saw it in the whole nation. I mean, in the United States, you get a switch with Karl Anthony Towns or you have a Jalen Brunson who's a smaller guy. You got to take advantage some kind of way. As we roll through this, you can see Brunson's showing like a four-man. Now, this is an opportunity to drive it. Oh, they knocking down threes. But when they're not going, you still got to play basketball the right way. I know the analytics say shoot threes when you're open and keep taking them. But at one point, I'm going to drive at least, get somebody some easy threes. They got Karl Anthony Towns in foul trouble, went to Mitchell Robinson, and then they started doing that hack at Mitchell Robinson. He had to come out of the game. But as you can see right here, neither Brunson or Towns really wanted to switch on that play. I mean, if you're the Boston Celtics, you go back and look at this tape. Here's another one. This is a long three that was going in the first half, but then all those shots was missed in the third quarter and the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and then the Knicks took advantage. Jalen Brunson, clutch player of the year. We saw him in the Pistons series, how he was able to score about 12 points per game in the fourth quarter. And this one, 11 points in the fourth. John, why was he so effective in the most critical part of the game once again against a very stout defensive team that was picking him up full court all game?
Well, he's very crafty, got great footwork, uses his pump fake very well. But, you know what I mean, he got the switches. You know what I mean, we talked about it earlier. Al Horford's a great defender. He's going to go out there and challenge the shots. But right here, Drew gave up on the play, gave him a wide-open three. And he's seen a couple of those go in. And, I mean, he lives for this moment. Those guys play defense for him. He saved his injury on the other end. And he's their closer. He's the guy they go to and make those big shots. So he's been in that moment. He lives in that moment. That's why he's the clutch player of the year. But you can't, like those threes they took early on, they was going in, and there was like heat check shots. Third, fourth quarter, they came out, started the second half. You're doing the same thing. You got to go back to what got you there. Attack the basket, move the ball, not all off the dribble threes.
You know, Smitty, we often have the conversation, rest or rhythm. For the Celtics, they had a week off before this series started. For the Knicks, knockdown, drag-out series against the Detroit Pistons. In fact, this marked the fifth consecutive game within 3 points. Do you feel as if maybe the Knicks, even down by 20, they were just a little bit sharper because they had just been in those battles with Detroit?
Well, the game of basketball and the basketball gods are not going to let you win a game if you don't play the right way. The Boston Celtics did not play the right way in the second half. I know they shoot a lot of threes, But if you get a mismatch or a switch, you must take advantage of it. And if not, you're going to lose some games like this. They will be kicking themselves, John. If this was a Game 7,
oh, man,
it would be unreal. And I just think they got to look in the drawing board where you got to get 2 feet in the paint at some point when you have a mismatch to be able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson averaged 33 points in that first-round series against Detroit, 29 points in this first game of round 2. Here he is with Allie LaForce.
Well, Jalen, every game presents its own problems, but how in the second half and overtime did you guys make yourselves their problem?
We just kept fighting. Once we got down, and we told each other to keep believing, and we just found a way.
Well, the narrative was New York can't beat Boston this season. Even last season it was a struggle, but how did you drown out all that noise and make sure the messaging and the mentality was right?
I mean, you got to move on. You know, what's in the past is in the past. You move on to the next one. I mean, it's simple as that.
Boston missed 45 threes. That's the most in playoff history. What was your defensive strategy when they were out on the perimeter, knowing coming in that they're the best in the league at it?
Well, I mean, we got to limit their attempts, but I mean, when you shoot that many, you can miss that many, but I mean, we just got to be ready for next game.
Thanks, Jalen. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Yeah, we know what Jalen Brunson can do, but how about OG Anunoby in that pivotal third quarter? 12 points in that comeback when they outscored the Celtics 20-6 to end the third quarter, finished with 29 points. That's more than Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Huge game for the champion, OG Anunoby.
Yeah, he was being aggressive, man. He did it on both ends of the floor. He did a great job guarding Jason Tatum, but he was able to make 6 threes a day out of 11, but he was doing it on defensive end, cutting to the basket, making the little things. And he has to be great on both ends of the floor for them to even have a chance in this series, and today he did it.
You know, Smitty, I mentioned the fact that he won a championship as a younger player in Toronto. That experience when you have a roster of guys trying to figure it out, the Knicks have veterans, but to have a guy who went all the way with his group seems like it's very valuable.
I'll give him a lot of credit. He's worked on his offensive game. Defensively, he's been there since college, but right now he's been able to make plays off the dribble a little bit, spot up, shoot threes, but I think also his confidence has gone to another level. He is taking shots and driving it where before he would pass the basketball, get off of it, and just play the game. But now he's taking risks, and I like how he's playing. He has to be aggressive for them on the offensive end, especially when you see a game from Karl Anthony Towns where he's not as aggressive and he's not scoring.
Knicks head coach Tom Thibodeau at the podium right now.
The resiliency, their ability to fight back. Are there any words left for how this group performs?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a great team win. We started well, then we fell into a hole, then we fought our way out, and then we made tough plays down the stretch. I think that's huge for us.
I like the defense. You guys switched everything. It really mucked things up for them. How did you like your guys' execution defensively? The guys taking the challenge of guarding one-on-one.
Yeah, and they still, they got a number of threes up. And some of them, we have to do a better job. The rebounding, we have to make sure that we fix that. So some were good, some have to be a lot better. So the important thing for us is to understand what it is. It's one win, and then understand that we have to reset and get ready for game 2.
Tom, can you talk about the resiliency?
Yeah, and it's been, this team has fought all year. It's been a pretty good road team. We've had to endure some things with guys being out, and I think over time that helps you. You build up your mental toughness and understanding how important that is. And it's like I said, it's one game. There's a lot of emotional highs and lows in a playoff, but no matter what happens, you have to keep moving forward.
When that ball falls off the rim at the end of regulation, just what's the regroup like in the huddle there?
Yeah, no, just it was a great look. Shot it great, didn't go in. That's part of the game. Next play. OG was terrific the whole game. Just, multiple efforts.
Ladies and gentlemen, Knicks faithful, welcome back to New York Knicks Report, your #1 source for all things Knicks. The team that never backs down, never gives up, and never lets the bright lights of the postseason shake their resolve. If you're a true blue New Yorker or just someone who bleeds orange and blue, then buckle up. Because what we witnessed in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals was nothing short of legendary. The Knicks walked into TD Garden, the home of the defending champs, and walked out with a dramatic 108-105 victory. But make no mistake, This wasn't just any win. This was a statement. And at the heart of it all, a guy who's fast becoming a Knicks legend in real time, Mikal Bridges. Now, we've seen some clutch performances in Knicks history, from Willis Reed walking out of that tunnel to John Stark's gravity-defying dunk in the 90s, moments that define eras. And in 2025, Mikal Bridges just added his name to that legacy. Let's rewind to the final 3:29 of Game 1. Knicks down, Celtics pushing, the Garden crowd in full roar. The defending champs smelled blood. But Bridges? He smelled opportunity. 2 steals, 1 dagger, 3-pointer. All in the final minutes. That's how you silence a crowd. That's how you shut down a team. That's how you win a game. And let's talk about that final play. With just 3 seconds left and the Knicks clinging to a precious 3-point lead, the Celtics tried to force overtime. Derek White inbounded. Jalen Brown caught it. The crowd held its breath. But there was Mikal, reading Brown's eyes, tracking the ball, anticipating the moment like a seasoned NFL cornerback. And that's no accident. Bridges actually credited his lockdown defense to his love for football, and more specifically, his admiration for Rams defensive back Ahkello Witherspoon. That's right. While everyone else was thinking Sauce Gardner, Bridges was thinking Rams secondary. He said it himself. "I'm a Los Angeles Rams fan. Try Ahkello Witherspoon. I'm watching Brown's eyes and following where the ball is. I'm trying to get my hands on it as soon as I see the ball." That mindset, that football-level awareness, made the difference between heartbreak and triumph. He didn't just guard Brown. He hunted the ball, and he got it, but wait, it gets better. Bridges logged 51 minutes, that's right. He became just the third Knick since 1994 to play at least 50 minutes in a playoff game, joining his current teammates Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. That's elite company. That's Iron Man mentality. That's Knicks grit. And don't forget, Bridges didn't even shoot well in regulation. He went 2 for 11 before overtime. But when it mattered most, he rose, he delivered, he won. Josh Hart said it best. That's who Mikal is. He's gotten a lot of criticism and he never lets that affect him. I don't know how many games down the stretch he's won for us on the defensive side alone. He's been a huge part of this team. And sometimes that gets overlooked because people look at stats and lose sight of how valuable a player he is. Let that sink in, Knicks fans. Bridges is that guy. The kind of guy who shows up when the lights are brightest, who puts team first, who makes the plays that shift entire series. And it wasn't just on that final steal. Earlier in overtime, as both teams scrambled to gain footing, Bridges pulled off a sideline steal so smooth it almost looked choreographed. That moment led directly to OG Anunoby's and one slam, a thunderous dunk that gave the Knicks a lead they'd never relinquish. Then, after Karl Anthony Towns cleaned up some Celtics misses, Bridges stepped up again with a cold-blooded corner, 3 that stretched the lead to 6. Silencing the crowd, silencing the critics, and silencing anyone who doubted whether giving up 5 future draft picks to bring Mikal to the Garden was worth it. You still think it wasn't worth it? Come on, just watch that fourth quarter again. Now, as we look ahead to Game 2 back in Boston, we already know the noise will be louder, the stakes higher, and the Celtics hungrier. But the Knicks? They've got momentum, they've got chemistry, and most of all, they've got Mikal Bridges, a player who is not just rising to the moment, he's redefining it. So to all of Knicks Nation, what did you think of that Game 1 performance? Was this Mikal Bridges' breakout moment as a Knick? Did that final steal cement his place as the team's defensive MVP? And are you now a believer in the trade that brought him across the borough? Let's hear your take in the comments. Drop your thoughts. The good, the bad, the bold. Do you think Bridges is the missing piece that finally takes this team to the NBA Finals? We'll be featuring some of your best comments in our next video, so make it count. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to New York Knicks Report, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of this incredible postseason journey. This is your time, Knicks fans. This is our time. Let's ride.